Hi, I'm Dave Richards. Welcome to my shop. This is Old Steam Powered Machine Shop number 33. If you haven't been following along with the earlier videos, this is a shop that I put together to depict what a small steam powered job machine shop might have looked like from 1925. And try to use the tools and measuring equipment and jigs and fixtures and techniques that would have been used in the 20s. And we've been rebuilding a vertical steam engine made by Morris Machine Works in Baldwinsville, New York. And in the last video, I built a set of rod bearing lower end brasses, the rod bearings, and in this video I'm going to assemble them and fit them to the crank pin first and then assemble it. And I got a friend, Mike Waller, who has a British motorcycle rebuild channel, Mechanic Motorcycles. He lives just up the road, and he does all his assembly in real time. So I thought I'd try that this time, and no matter what, so you can see how it goes together. And then we had a little job that I was doing for myself, replacing this wooden experimental governor pulley with a cast iron, or actually it turned out to be steel pulley that I made out of a 3-grooved V-belt pulley. And it was some pretty hard pulling on the lathe with that, and it made the engine labor just a little bit, at least enough so you could hear it in the exhaust. So we're going to get right to the work at hand, and I just want to say I appreciate all the comments and subscriptions and emails that I get from you guys, and it's really good to know there's a lot of fans of steam power around the world. So thanks again, and we'll get to it. Right off the bat, we can see they're just a touch too wide, but that's all right. It's not much, and I want them tight. They almost go in there, but not quite. So we're gonna have to take about 6 or 8 thousandths off of one of these sides. Determine the rod goes this way with all the numbers facing the flywheel. I don't know why they did it that way, because you got one adjustment wedge to be driven from the back way and one from the front way, but there's a convenient hole over here, an oval port to do that through there, so I guess that's the way it goes. I got the brasses trimmed down, and I opened up the radius a little on the fillet, and that one fits really good. And for some reason this one is still sticking a little bit, so I put some layout glue on there. It's not exactly the right kind of stuff to use, but we'll try it and see what we can see. Goes down on there, but it's tight in a couple places. Put some layout dye on here. Not exactly the right kind of stuff to use, but we'll see what happens. This one is a little tight. Sometimes it feels like it's on the outside edge. Sometimes it feels like it's on the fillet. It might be a little of both. Oh, I see. It's a little bit right there. Nothing on that side. Just a little bit right there. Well, we'll take that off with a file and a little emery and be back. Second time around. Tight spot right over on that side. That fillet on the crank pin has just got a little bit of ragged edge to it. And you should be able to see clearly that little line right in there. And over here just a little bit. We'll scrape that off and try it again. So after about 6 times around with the layout die, we got that one, and really just the slightest bit of detectable end play. I could have done a better job with those fillets, I think. It's down on the bearing in good shape. Alright, now we gotta put them back in. I'll pull this back a little so. Hang it up on that strap a little bit. Looked all over the shop for it. Okay, that goes in this way. There's just the slightest little bit of drag there, which is just what I was looking for. Okay. Let's get the sliding wedge on here. We'll pass that bolt. No matter how you figure it, you ain't gonna go by that bolt. So, let me take that out. beginning to think I should have put this crosshead in first. I had it before. Oh, God. I've been in there before. Drive that in. This is a very close, almost a press fit in here, so I'm not going to drive that in until I get the final assembly. Alright. The Morris has a connecting rod. making up a 10-inch governor pulley, taking place of a wooden one, temporary one on the shop end. This is a D-belt pulley, cast iron. So the first thing is I got to bore the center up to match the crankshaft on the Richards engine, which is 2 15/16. Actually, it's 2 9/36. I want a nice fit on it, so that'll give me a couple of thousand. Got a high-speed steel tool on a homemade boring bar and a shop-made boring bar holder. By the way that's turning, I would say this is actually steel.
You can kind of develop a feel for doing this the whole way with a caliper or an inside caliper. If you hold on to the one side and then keep backing this one out and keep rocking it in that direction until you feel the drag when it's right in the middle, and then work it this way, and you'll find a kind of a sweet spot right in there between the horizontal and the vertical. Kind of make an X, and where it's just dragging in there. And if you set your mic and lock it, if it has a lock on it, I get this at 936, and you just let it by its own weight fall in between those two anvils. See, that's just a little bit too tight. There's a sharp edge right here on the edge of the anvil, and it won't go by that if you put it just in one and then let it rest on the other one. It won't quite go by that. So I'm going to set it another 1/2 thousandth. And there, it just drops by. So I would say I'm at 936.5. So if we go back here, and check it with more modern methods, do it the same way, back and forth like this, and you keep moving it in until it's tight, and then you back it off a little bit and move it in until it's tight, and you back it off a little bit until it just slides by. Oh, I went too far. Find that sweet spot right through there where it just slides by. And I'm looking at it, and I got 937. So I was a 1/2 thousandth off using an old caliper. Okay, so now I got a left-handed tool in here. I flipped it around the other way, and I'm going to turn most of these grooves out of here. I think I may leave a little bit of a flange on each side to see how it looks. Slow it down. Now I'll use the back. I'll use the back here on the higher side, on the higher speed. Disengage from the spindle. Disengage the back here. This old American lathe's got a 2-speed back gear. All you got to do is pull this lever. That's the back gear speed that I usually use, but I'm going to show you. This is the really low back gear, and this is sort of like railroad wheel lathe speed. Gotta grind it. You can notice the speed droop and the governor slows down a little bit, not really for lack of power, it's just that the governor takes a certain amount of slowing down in order to make it to act. Getting down close to the bottom. tool is about used up. I'm working this edge up to next to the flange, hand feeding it. Okay, I've already made a finish cut on this side with the taper attachment to give it 1/2 inch per foot taper in this direction. And I've switched the taper attachment over to the other side of the center to 1/2 inch per foot the other direction. And I'm going to catch it in the center and run a finish cut in this direction. And I've switched my tool around from a left to a right hand. So all the feeding has to be done with the compound. I'll back it up. And when it goes by about the center of the pulley, I'm just going to bring it in and see the cut's getting heavier as we go in that direction. So now that I got this side cleaned up, I got to go back and cut this side so that they're the same this way. You got to do the lowest side first, and I always guess wrong. Oh, there's the finished pulley. We'll stick it on tomorrow and see how it goes. These grooves here are either going to work or they're going to go away. The big problem with them is sometimes the belt will, the same way the belt wants to go to the center of the high spot in the pulley, the belt will climb up on these things. And so you need a certain amount of clearance on the edge of the belt. If it gives me any problems at all, I'm going to machine these grooves off.